Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. It's another fine Monday, and we're having none of the Monday blues. Look, I even kicked off the blue light and brought in orange because it's way more energizing, and I'm gonna need that energy for today's awesome episode because Nintendo has announced February Fest. It looks like Bayonetta 3 could be the end of an era for Platinum Games. There's a new Wii U game coming in 2022. Yes, you heard me right, a new Wii U game. And last but not least, a loved and lauded massive third-party franchise is finally heading to Switch, one we've all asked for and wanted, the perfect fit. I cannot wait to play it. So what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you all are doing wonderful. Make sure to hit that like button if you enjoyed the show, and let me know your take on today's topics in the comments down below, especially if you're excited for this third-party arrival. Now, we're all very excited to see when Bayonetta 3 finally busts onto the scene, hopefully in 2022. That's the date it's been given, and so Platinum is hard at work. Well, their CEO, Atsushi Inaba, recently talked about the future of the company, and he had some interesting ideas. He said, when it comes to future video game production, we want to focus on creating games that are different from the past. I would like to focus on creating games that can be enjoyed and loved for a longer period of time. Of course, we would like to cherish and create small but brilliantly conceived games such as Soul Cresta, and games in which you can enjoy the process of clearing the game by going through one-off well-designed stages such as Bayonetta. However, the projects that we're trying to create for the future will be different in terms of their structure. Considering the changes in the market over the next 5 years or so, I think it is absolutely necessary for us to do this. I'm sorry for being so vague, but that's all I can tell you right now. And it really sounds like Platinum Games is going to be going the games as services route, where it seems like so many companies are heading. He talks about Soul Cresta as a small but brilliant game, and Bayonetta as a really satisfying game clearing levels, and indicates that their next games won't be like that, making me think of either multiplayer or games that have persistent online worlds where you keep coming back for new content for years and years and years. And don't get me wrong, the Destinies of the world have their place, but so does a game like Bayonetta 3. And I really would hate to see some of these genius smaller companies making, as they self-proclaim, brilliant games, be all just so drawn into this future of games as service and online and lasting forever, and we become a very homogenized industry full of multiplayer, side questathon, open world online games. Let me know in the comments down below if you find this trend a bit concerning. Bayonetta 3 should be awesome, and hopefully there's always a place for those kinds of games. And you know what I love in 2022? That there's still a place for Wii U games. Yup, a brand new Wii U game is coming our way soon. It's called Silver Falls White Inside Its Umbra. Title very, very confusing, but the game is a horror title where you use the Wii U gamepad as a giant cell phone, and it even employs the balance board for movement if you want to get really immersed. Now, the game doesn't look awesome really in any way. It's from a studio called Sungrand Studios, and maybe it ends up being a cult classic. I'm not so sure. I just love that they're still developing, and it makes me remember the days of the Wii U gamepad being used for moderately cool things, such as a giant cell phone. I did love Zombie U, where you got to pick through your bag in real time on that gamepad, and I do think the gamepad is the predecessor to the Switch, so for all of its problems, it was perfectly necessary to reach where we are today. A title called Captain U, a very simplistic platformer, released last December, and now we have another Wii U game coming in 2022, and it's interesting to note that Nintendo still has eShop submissions open. So if you are a burgeoning developer with a lot of pizzazz and you want to put something out, maybe consider the Wii U. There's not much competition, and it definitely will get a mention from SwitchForce, and honestly, I just think it's really cool. Even if the game ends up being crappy, there's a Wii U game coming out in 2022, and I love that. Let me know if you still have a Wii U. If you have a Wii U, like, maybe you could get one. Are they cheap? I think there's enough good games that it really is a fun piece of hardware to have. There's some really interesting exclusives, and just the idea of the gamepad, it really gives you an eye into what Nintendo was sort of going through as they worked their way up to Switch, and I think it's a pretty neat system. And it did have quite a bit of third-party support at the start. We're talking about Batman, Mass Effect, and Madden. Okay, so the month is February, and Nintendo will be announcing a Direct sometime soon, but in the meantime, they announced this morning February Fest, which is a giant dance party where everyone pushes their Switch to the sky, raises the roof, and does a little curtsy goodbye. No, actually, it is a over 1,000 game eShop sale. Now, this was announced by Nintendo of Europe, so that is where the sale will begin on Thursday, featuring a wide array of colorful and multiplayer games. Kind of unique descriptors. I wonder what games are going to be in here. The only ones that kind of combine the two are Splatoon, colorful, and multiplayer. Anyways, I hope that this sale at least finds half of its games hitting the States. They'll reveal the lineup on Thursday, so I'll let you know what the highlights are then. But pretty cool. February Fest, over 1,000 games. That's a lot, and a chance in a month that kind of is missing a major Switch release to maybe get some stuff that you missed from your back catalog. Let me know in the comments down below if there is a game you hope to see as part of February Fest, and if your fingers crossed that it comes to everywhere else in the world. Raise your hand if you've seen the trailers for The Batman, the upcoming movie featuring Edward Cullen and the Riddler. It looks ridiculously good. I'm so excited for it. Probably my most anticipated movie right now, except for the Mario movie, and Avatar 2, which I'm not even totally sure is real. I'm gonna wait until we actually see a trailer. It's been so many years, but in honor of the Caped Crusader bringing his brooding, brutal self back to the big screen, it looks like Nintendo is getting in on the fun. One of the main franchises that I have said would be perfect for Switch and we'd love to see enter the arena is the Batman Arkham series. Oh, amazing games. Rocksteady, a phenomenal developer. They're over there working on the Suicide Squad, not for Switch, but in the past, they made games that I think are perfect. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time, Arkham Asylum. An absolute masterwork, and Arkham Knight is totally underrated. Don't let anyone else tell you otherwise just because they're sour about the storyline. Now, this was leaked by French retailer WTT. And WTT has a history of correct leaks because they are ones who correctly leaked the Switch port of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt before it was officially announced. And lo and behold, this weekend over on WTT, a listing for the Batman Arkham Collection for Nintendo Switch appeared with a release date of August 31st. Now, August 31st is a wild Wednesday, it's a random date, and so I think that's just a placeholder, leading me to believe that they don't know the official release, but that this game is coming sometime this summer. And as we drumroll our way to the next Direct, it makes sense that some of these third-party mysteries would start to show up because that's what usually happens. Before they pop at a Nintendo presentation, they oftentimes pop at international retailers. Now, the Arkham Collection is an awesome one because it has Asylum, City, and Night, the three Rocksteady-helmed Arkham games, the best in the franchise, and they have amazing combat, awesome stories, great characters, fantastic puzzles, and even good reasons to get 100% completion. I love those Riddler trophies. They're amazing. This game, this series, it will be so good on the Switch and so good in handheld mode as you go if they can get the performance right. This is an absolute revelation for the Switch and will quickly become a must-have series on the system. The price point will be important, I think, at least a little bit, because most likely they'll charge $60, but let me tell you that right now, you can go get the Arkham Collection, which was released in 2018 on other platforms, for $9 on your PlayStation 4 or 5. $9. That's $3 a pop, and most likely Nintendo, and whoever ports this, will be asking $20 a pop. Warner Brothers has a big year. They've got the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga coming soon. Hogwarts Legacy hopefully descends on other consoles. And of course, big old Batman back on the big screen. But I love this news the most. I love getting one of my favorite franchises on the system. Let me know if you're pumped. If you've never played these games, you are in for a treat. The boss battles are legendary. Okay, the way you can explore inside and outside the world, flying around. Even the Batmobile. I love the Batmobile in Arkham Knight. A lot of people hate it. Even editor Gabe says the Batmobile stinks, but you know what? The Batmobile is amazing. There's driving challenges, that open world. It even has full-on conversions, the storyline, the mysteries, what's going on inside Batman's head, Joker, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, and more. These games are awesome, and this is some of the best news I've seen all year. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to pick this one up. And again, if you have not played them, please put this on your radar. Now, in honor of Master Bruce, today's poll is about Marvel versus DC. I said, hey, let's start with an easy one. Which way do you fall, Marvel or DC as your personal comic book priority? Now make sure to turn on your notification bell and follow the community tab so you can be a part of these polls each and every weekday evening, including Sunday nights. And I'll let you know that 80% picked Marvel, which makes sense. There's a lot to love. The movies are insanely popular. Spider-Man just released and it's got a really awesome litany of characters. My favorite probably being, I think Wolverine. I think he's my favorite. Not like movie Wolverine, not Hugh Jackman. I think of like old school X-Men, like yellow and brown Wolverine. That's the Wolverine I grew up with and know and love. But DC has a loyal following as well, 20% sticking on the side of Batman, Harley Quinn, and Clark Kent. Now, with superheroes on the brain, let me take this final moment of the video to remind you that you can be a superhero for somebody. A simple act of kindness goes a long way, and even if you don't have a cape or laser vision, you really can make a big difference for someone. So use this week as an opportunity to go out there and be somebody else's hero. Maybe that sounds a little corny, but honestly, there's a lot of people out there that just need a simple gesture of kindness to really catapult them into a better week, a better month, a better year, a better life. And if you can be responsible for helping someone get there, that is such a rewarding feeling. So go out there and be your best selves. I believe in you. Make sure you're staying safe, staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive. And until next time, my wonderful friends, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Let me know your take in the comments down below. Thanks again. SwitchForce out.